Okay, let's keep going. Iran.
I understand the Middle East. Every country there pretty much was, on the brink of watching what would have been unfolding today. What is it like today? What's being said?
Yeah, Harris, I can tell you officials here in the region are watching closely what President Trump just said from the White House, talking about the fact we may have to hit them again. And he laid out a timeline that
Why?
From 2 to 3 days into next week. What was interesting, though, the president talking about his red line for the regime, that has not changed following that announcement overnight on Truth Social that he had planned to attack Iran today, but is holding off due to a request from Gulf leaders. That timeline remains the biggest question.
I just want to see something real quick. You researched, do they have anything on Iran? What do Americans think about Trump's approval rating hits second term low among his Latino voters through, though many still approve? That's crazy that some still approve. Nothing about Iran on here, though. Oh, gas prices are America's top concern in Iran war. 69% of Americans something. But majority also worries about majorities also worry about the United States sending ground troops into Iran, large numbers of military casualties, terrorist attacks on U.S. soils, and the war expanding outside the Middle East. Majority. The survey was conducted March 23rd to 29th among 3,507 U.S. adults. How Americans view key aspects on the Iran war. How Americans view the key aspects of the Iran war. Percent who say thinking about the U.S. military action against Iran, they are blank concerned about higher gas and fuel prices. Net concern 69%. So 69% are concerned about higher gas fuel prices. So overwhelming majority. Percent who say the U.S. is blank to avoid civilian casualties in the U.S. military against Iran. Blank who say the U.S. is not doing enough to avoid civilian casualties. Doing enough. Okay, so majority, I guess it's split, but it's 50-50 says that majority is saying that the U.S. is not doing enough to avoid civilian casualties in the U.S. military action against Iran, obviously. And especially if they're going to a, on the ground battle. But civilian casualties, though, is different than military casualties, right? Anyway, percent who say they are confident that Donald Trump can make good decisions when it comes to the U.S. policy towards Iran. 64% is unconfident. 60, that's an overwhelming majority that's like, this guy cannot do it at all. That can make good decisions towards Iran. Feels bad, man. Trump, it's good though. Fuck Trump. He literally needs to be impeached. It's so awful what he's doing.
Remains on high alert, along with an ongoing U.S. military buildup across the region. President Trump indicated this is a temporary pause to see if an agreement can be reached.
How close were you striking Iran?
I was an hour away.
An hour away.
You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now. Yeah, it was all done. The boats, the ships are all loaded. They're loaded to the brim, and we were all set to start.
An hour away from the decision, the president said there from Washington. This is the Iranians released new statements overnight with the country's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, saying dialogue does not mean surrender, and a senior Iranian official, Mohsen Razi, attacking President Trump on X, saying he sets a deadline for a military attack and then cancels it himself with the false hope that he will surrender the Iranian nation and officials. The iron fist of the powerful armed forces and the great nation of Iran will force them to retreat and surrender.
That's not a good response from Iran. That's kind of scary. But Trump is doing the fake out. He's literally going, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Don't, come on. I'm going to do it this time. And this guy's like, yeah, we're not going to be pushed around. The new fronts thing that we talked about earlier still concerns me.
New images from inside of Iran that show a nomadic Iranian tribe marching in Tehran and chanting death to America. Some held weapons as they listened to a speech in the capital city.
There is no point in negotiating with the aggressor, bloodthirsty and child-killing enemy. We just fight to eliminate the enemy from the Middle East, even from this planet.
Very threatening language from the Iranians as President Trump indicated from Washington. The U.S. military is prepared if he gives new orders.
You know what's always funny about these? Very threatening and scary language is like that's the same language that America uses against these people. You know what?
To strike Iran. Harris?
Look, Trey, you and I have had a lot of talk about the faith and religions in that part of the world, and I'm curious. It is Hajj coming up in a few days. 2 to 3 million Muslims
Come
go to
on,
Saudi
don't
Arabia during
blame
that
the
time.
religion.
Is that perhaps any of the calculus going on about, quote unquote, another hit them?
It could be. There are a lot of calculations taking place behind the scenes, and I spoke with one regional source last night who was quiet as it relates to what comes next. There's an understanding that the Israelis and the Americans are sharing real-time intelligence to ensure that the moon is not out in a way that U.S. forces could operate, that air defense systems are located where they need to be, and that these refuelers are prepared to take off and support fighter jets that could be in the skies of Iran if President Trump orders these strikes. And so a lot of moving parts here, and the region really is bracing for the possibility that this war resumes in the days ahead.
Yeah,
Let's see how oil prices are doing, huh? Can we go Yahoo Finance oil? Oil prices, baby, crude oil. Let's see. Damn, it's shocking. Is this since the war? Look at that spike, baby. Oh, it's going up. Oh, oil salesmen are loving it. Good. Should have invested in oil back in the day. We should have bought low.